So Petr Yan is going to be fighting Cory Sandhagen instead of fighting Aljamain Sterling, who's out because of an injury. I think this is a very compelling fight. Cory Sandhagen, in his last fight against TJ Dillashaw, gave TJ Dillashaw all he can actually handle. Even though TJ Dillashaw, I think in my opinion, rightly won that fight, and it was a very good victory for him. I think Cory Sandhagen is legitimate, and he's going to give Petr Yan a very good fight. Don't get it twisted. I think Petr Yan's going to win this fight. I think Petr Yan is legitimately one of the most scary fighters. One of the most scary fighters in the actual bantamweight division. But in my opinion, I think Cory Sandhagen is definitely up there. And I know a lot of people like to throw shade at Aljamain Sterling, but Aljamain Sterling actually managed to beat, I believe he beat Cory Sandhagen by a submission, if I'm not mistaken. He did actually beat him. So it kind of puts into perspective how good Petr Yan is, because he completely dominated Aljamain Sterling and made it look easy at times, and looked like Aljamain Sterling didn't even deserve to be in the same ring with him. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a very good fight for both of them. I would have loved to have seen Petr Yan fight TJ Dillashaw, because TJ Dillashaw, regardless of what you think about him, is a legend within the bantamweight division. I mean, he's been around for such a long time. He's at a point now where he is a veteran, and he is like one of the fighters who's you can kind of see him as an OG of UFC in a sense. Like, he was around during the early times of when the UFC was just taking over, when it was just starting to break into the mainstream zeitgeist. So yeah, in my opinion, a fight between Petr Yan and TJ Dillashaw would have been a very interesting fight. It kind of reminds me of a bit like a George Foreman versus Evander Holyfield fight when they fought. You got the new guard versus the old guard, and you got the new upstart versus the old guard who's coming for one last crack at the sport. Probably wants a title shot, but obviously TJ Dillashaw is out because of an injury, and I think this is a very good test for Petr Yan. Petr Yan looks relentless at this point in time. I've been looking at him training, and he looks like he's absolutely going for it. Like he's really taking it seriously. So from that perspective, I think both fighters have got a lot going for them. So yeah, just from that perspective, I'm very much looking forward to this fight, and I can't wait to see what actually happens. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think Cory Sandhagen has got a very, very good chance of actually pulling off the upset. What you got to remember is he's taller than him, he's lengthier than him, he's probably got better reach than him. So from a physical standpoint, he's got everything to give Petr Yan a hard time. If you look at the actual face-off between the two, there was a significant size difference between the two. So from that perspective, he's got a lot going for him. But then again, Petr Yan, I think, is a special fighter. The way he beat Jose Aldo, the way he destroyed Faber, the way he destroyed Aljamain Sterling, I think he's a very good fighter, and I think he's here to stay for a very long time. So yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to this fight. I can't wait to see what actually happens. So from that perspective, who I actually think is going to win, I just think Petr Yan is a very special fighter. I've been following him for a very long time, and I just think he's got something special about him. I don't know what it is exactly, but I think I'm actually gonna go for Petr Yan to win. But I think it's gonna be a close fight. I think Cory Sandhagen's definitely gonna have his moments, and I think there's gonna be definitely a time in the fight where literally we're going to look at it and we're going to be like, you know what, this is a lot closer than we thought it was going to be. So from that perspective, that's who I think is going to actually win. My money's actually on Petr Yan winning quite decisively, but I think the decision is going to be quite contentious. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth between the two, because I think both fighters are very game, both fighters are very relentless, both fighters are going to come and bring it, both fighters are looking to get a title shot and hopefully put themselves in a position where they really stand out as the stand out fighter of this generation. The bantamweight bantamweight division, I think, is one of the most competitive weight classes in MMA at this point in time. I think it's full of absolute animals. Whether you think Aljamain Sterling is a fraud or not, you can't deny the fact that he is a decent fighter. He may have won his title illegitimately, but just getting to a point where he can fight for the title, he did have to get past fighters like the likes of Cory Sandhagen, who's a legitimate top 5 bantamweight in my opinion. I think he gives anyone a top fight within the bantamweight division, and I think he's going to give Petr Yan a hell of a fight tomorrow. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this particular fight. What's your opinion? Who do you think is going to win? Who would you put money on winning? In my opinion, I think it's a very good fight, and I think it is going to be interesting to see who's going to actually pull it off. So yeah, that's my opinion. Tell me your opinion below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.